Awesome. Angela K. Man, that's awesome.
Hey friends, this is Angela from Art of Creation Homestead, and we are doing another Homestead Kitchen Skills video today. Today I am teaching you how to make homemade crescent rolls. These are going to take a little bit longer than that Poppin' Fresh can, but I promise you they're going to be so much better. In this cup, we have 1 cup of milk, and mixed with it, we have 1/3 cup of water. I have brought these up to, you want between 110 and 115. I usually err on the side of a little too warm because if you remember from my past bread making videos, I keep my yeast frozen, so it sometimes needs a little extra boost to wake it up. So I'm going to pour this into a large bowl. And to this, I'm going to add 2.5 teaspoons of yeast. Now this can also be just one little packet of yeast, but I am also using instant yeast. If you are using instant yeast, you don't really have to do this step, but I'm showing you how to do this. What I'm doing is I am proofing the yeast. Now here I have 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. I'm going to add about half of that. That gives the yeast something to eat so that it's happy to wake up. Now you want to leave this sit for about 5 minutes. And if your yeast is alive and well, you will have a nice foamy head on top of your liquid. And I'll be back and show you what that looks like. Okay, it's been 5 minutes, and as you can see, it's foamy like everything. That's what you want to see. You know your yeast is alive and well. Now to this, we are going to add 6 tablespoons of melted butter. Just pour it right into your yeast mixture. It is cooled off, by the way. You don't want it screaming hot. It can still kill your yeast. So you want that melted and then cooled back down till it's about room temperature. And then here we have 2 large eggs beaten. I've just beaten them together, and as you can see, they're a beautiful color. I wish you could really see the color. These are from our beautiful hens. Now, we are going to add that in. And now, we are going to add the rest of our 1/4 cup of sugar. And we are going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. And now, in this bowl, we have 5 cups of all-purpose flour. Now, we may or may not use it all, just like I've told you before. You never know with bread making. So I'm going to add about 3/4 of that, which is about 3 cups. I'm going to leave about 2 behind in the bowl. There we go. Now, I'm going to stir this up. And you should start seeing a wet, it'll probably look more like a batter than, because as you saw, there's an awful lot of liquid ingredients there. It'll probably look more like a batter, maybe like a thick pancake batter, rather than a dough right now. Or kind of like a loose dough, really. See, it kind of looks like a loose, shaggy. It's not even reached the shaggy stage yet, really. It's kind of a loose dough. So the fact that it's still very loose tells me that we need more flour. So I'm going to take 1/4 cup of my remaining 2 cups, and I'm going to add 1/4 cup. And I'm going to work that 1/4 cup in. Now this dough is going to remain a little sticky because of all the butter and the eggs. It is going to remain a little bit sticky until it goes in for the rise process. Now, that's still too sticky, and it's not cleaning your bowl. Once again, just like with the pizza crust, you want it to clean your bowl. So we're going to add another 1/4 of a cup. And as you can see, it's still not cleaning the bowl. So we are going to add another 1/4 of a cup. At this point, I'm going to get my favorite tools in the world in there. And that's the 2 tools that God put at the end of my wrist. So now, because I want to feel the dough. I want to see if it feels too sticky. I want to see what it needs. And the only way you can do that is with your fingers. Now, you can do this in a KitchenAid. But I know not everyone has a KitchenAid. So I am doing this by hand, just to show you just how easy it is. Okay, as you can tell, it's still pretty sticky. So we're going to add another 1/4 of a cup. And that takes you up to around 4 cups at this point. Now you want to work that in. And now, as you can see, it's starting to clean the bowl, but it's still pretty sticky. So we're going to add about 1/8 of a cup at this point. Don't add a full cup. Don't add a full 1/4 of a cup, because it's probably not going to need it. And see, look at that. Now it's cleaning your bowl really well. See, it's starting to clean your bowl really well. Now, and it's such a beautiful dough. Look at that. It's such a beautiful dough. Now, we are going to start kneading this dough. And we are going to knead it for about 5 minutes. Now, you want to pat it out on your surface. And remember what I've told you about kneading. Now, this is a yeast bread, but it's also a very sticky dough. So the first time you start kneading, it, you want to put down a little flour. But after that, but that's just because of the eggs and the butter. But after that, if it starts to get sticky on you again, do not add more flour to your surface. Instead, add just a little light sheen of oil on your surface. Now, remember what I taught you about kneading. Flatten it out, fold it over, push away from you. Turn, fold over, push away from you, and turn. Now, I'm going to keep kneading this. And to me, like I've told you, this is the best therapy I could have, is the rhythm of kneading bread dough. And you want to knead this for about 5 minutes until it's smooth and elastic. And I'll show you what that looks like when we're there. Now, as you can see, we've got a smooth, nice dough ball there. And it's, with this dough, because of all the butter and all of the eggs, it's still going to remain just a little bit tacky when you push on it. It's not going to stick and leave dough all over your fingers. See, I can push on it and it's not leaving any dough on my finger. But it's going to remain just a little bit tacky. But that's how you know it's perfect. But see, you know it's ready when you push on it and that indentation bounces back. That's when you know it's been worked enough. See, it just bounces back. Now, in the bowl that you mixed your dough up in, you want to spread a little bit of oil around. And you want to throw it in there. And you want to turn it in your oil. Keeps you from getting a crust on it. Now, we are going to cover that with plastic wrap. And we are going to put it in a draft-free area. I either put mine in my microwave without the microwave on, or I put it in the oven without the oven on, just the oven light on. And that's the perfect environment to keep your dough nice and warm and rising. Now, you want to do this until it's doubled in size. This could take anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. Normally for me, it takes about an hour and a half, but it depends on the day, once again. When you look at it, check it after 1 hour. When it's if it's doubled in size, take it out. If it's not, let it go for another half an hour to an hour, and check it again at a half an hour. But when it's doubled in size, it's ready. As you can see, it's perfectly doubled in size now. And it's been about an hour and a half, just like I told you it would be. Now, we're gonna deflate it. Just push on it, push all that air out of it. Now, we're gonna take it out of our bowl. See, you've got one big blob of dough here. Now, you're gonna divide this into 3. Now you've got 3 beautiful blobs of dough. Now, you want to shape it into a ball. And see, it's so smooth. It's so smooth and so easy to work with. Now you want to flatten it out. Now you're going to roll it into a round, or as close to a round as you can get. If you guys have seen the tortilla video, you guys know I can't roll around very good. So hopefully this doesn't wind up looking like something weird. You want to roll this out to about a 12-inch circle. Now we have about a 12-inch circle, and I'm going to use a pizza cutter because that's going to make it much easier. And we're going to cut this into 8 equal wedges, or somewhat equal. So you're going to do that by cutting it in half, then cut it in half the other way, and then cut diagonal and cut each half in half. That way you can come closer to getting them as equal as possible. Now you have 8 wedges. Now you are going to start at the long end. You're going to take one of your wedges and you're going to start at the long end. You're going to stretch it out. You're going to start rolling it up. Now, when you first start rolling it really tight. And you're just going to keep rolling, just like you do the stuff from the Poppin' Fresh can. Now, there's your homemade crescent roll. Now, what you want to do, see that little tail? You want to make sure that it's down on your pan. Now what we're going to do, we have 2 pans lined with parchment paper. And you're going to put them on your pan and curve them like you do the ones you buy in the can. And now I'm going to keep doing these. Now I will tell you, this recipe makes a lot. This recipe makes 24 crescent rolls. Now, the awesome thing about this is that they freeze beautifully. So you want to talk about simpler than the Poppin' Fresh can. You can get simpler than the Poppin' Fresh can, because you can leave out about half for your family meal the first night you make them. Then you can put the other half in a freezer bag, put them in the freezer, and then just pop out what you need for another meal. If you just need 1 or 2, just bring out 1 or 2, pop them into a toaster oven or your oven. You could even do it in a microwave, but I would recommend toaster oven or oven on about 325, just for about 5 minutes or so until they're nice and warmed up, nice and unthawed and warmed up. And you've got crescent rolls quicker than you can get them out of a can. So I'm gonna keep making these and I'll show you what they all look like when they're done. And just like that, you have 24 beautiful crescent rolls laid out on your pan. Now all you need to do, you need to let these rise a second time for about 30 minutes. It doesn't take long at this point because you don't have to wait till they're doubled in size or anything like that. You just need to cover them with some plastic wrap and let them rise for about 30 minutes. And then I'll show you the next step before we bake them. Now these beauties are done with their second rise.
They look awesome.
They smell even better.
That's a beautiful dough.
Yes, and it's so soft and easy to work with. So now we're gonna brush them with an egg wash, which is just 1 egg mixed with about a tablespoon of water and beaten up really good. And now you just brush the tops of all of them. And then you will put them in the oven and bake them at 350 degrees until they are nice and golden brown. And about halfway through, because you can't fit both of these pans on one rack, so you put one on the bottom rack, one on the top rack, and about halfway through, switch them. Put the bottom on the top and the top on the bottom. And then I'll show you what they look like when they're out of the oven. Look at these beauties.
That's awesome. You did a great job on these. Look at that. It's such a beautiful brown.
That shininess comes from that egg wash. Look
awesome. Angela K. Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. This is, gotta be honest with you, quite impressive. And quite delicious. You don't need no stinking cans. Man. What a wonderful crescent roll dough. Homemade. So amazing. So, thank you guys for watching. We do appreciate it. My name is Jason. That's Angela K. Art of Creation Homestead. Love you guys. God bless you. Goodbye.